we get a order, our secretary, who else, I guess that's right. Ms. Vanya, could you call the order, the names or, members?
Okay. Chair Smoot Johnson,
Present.
Andrea Cook,
Present.
Mona Stevens,
Present.
Alfida Akoff,
Present.
four present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Um, I'm my first time, so be patient with me, everyone, please. Our next item is item number 2, Global Management Group Incorporated, requesting a variance for ordinance 8.7, walls and fence to erect 6-foot galvanized security fence. That's our first one to call, item number 2. Is there anyone present to, the applicant, Mary Rugano? I'm sorry, if I pronounced your name incorrectly, or who's to speak on this on behalf for this project? Could you speak now? Are they? Hmm. Ms. Jones, are they room or thing for Global Management Group?
Vonda, can you hear her?
I can hear. You're
Okay.
asking, do we have a representative in here with Global
Right.
Management?
Or are they on the, or not, just not speaking?
Not sure. Is there anyone here? There's no one in the council chambers
Okay.
representing Global.
Okay. Is there anyone here that's to speak against the project at this point?
Yes, ma'am. We do have
Yeah.
someone here in opposition.
Okay. Will they come forward? Please give your name and your address.
How you doing? I'm State Representative Louise Alexander. I live at 2508 11th Avenue North, Basham, Alabama. I'm here with a petition from the residents that live within the community. I had one with outside the community and inside the community, but I want to make sure that the ones that would send letters did sign this. They oppose any variance or anything that's going to go there. We have always looked at when houses was torn down in that particular area, we want to build backward houses, and but now for somebody to want to come and store, we got a lot of junkyards and stuff already around there. We got a church right across the street. The lady that lives right at the alley, Miss Mac, she got cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer. She wanted to be here today, but she really opposed it. Then the young man at the end of the street, he opposed it as well. These houses are right here where this property is located at. But here's the petition. Turn it in. I give it to the proper.
You give it to Ms. Jones.
Okay, Ms. Jones, she told me to give it to you.
Okay.
And we ask that this be denied.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any-
Hello.
Anyone? Go ahead.
Oh, this is Willie Bryan. I was having problem getting unmuted. Representative Global.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have we haven't made a decision on it, have we?
No, we have not. We just began. And
Okay, appreciate it.
project, and I was going to go back to you and ask if anyone
Thank
there global. No problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
You can go ahead and speak. Take your reason for the fencing, sir, from Goldman.
Okay, are you ready for me?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. What we're planning on doing is what the request was for a 6-foot fence as opposed to the variance for the 3.5. And to fence the property off for safety reason. And along the 8th Avenue alley, I don't know whether or not the city have reported this. They use that area for dumping and dumping in based on the property line through there. So it's that's the major reason we would love to, have a 6-foot fence for security and we were requested by the city engineer to show that the 6-foot fence will not impact the site distances there along 8th Avenue and 24th Street.
Can we state your name again, please, sir, from Global Management, please? Make sure-
Willie, it's
Mhm.
Willie
Say it again, Willie.
Bryant.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are anyone either for or against this property, this project, item number 2?
I already spoke, right?
Or,
Ms. Acuff,
yes,
this is Tom speaking. There's no
Yes.
one else present at City Hall in favor of or against this project, but we do
Thank-
have the petitions that Ms. Alexander has brought with 33 names listing on there. I apologize, there's another sheet with 7 additional names on there, but there's no one else in attendance to speak in favor of or against.
thank you so much. Any board members have any questions about it?
So would that be a total of 40 names on the petition? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the numbers.
That'd be
That's not-
40.
Be 40, okay,
40.
I think Representative Alexander is muted.
okay.
I don't think we can.
So if there's if there's no more comments, any more comments from the board besides Ms. Cook, I think.
Ms. Acuff, again, this is Tom, I apologize. Ms. Alexander just brought to my attention that there are many more than 40 names on here. I don't know if I get where you can see it. The family members have put numbers of adults in their household beside there.
I see it.
Can I make one more statement, please?
Okay.
That anybody just could come and do a store any kind of materials or anything on any property that did not have a building on it. This is something new to me, and I did look it up, and I still cannot find where you can just actually have a store materials, any kind of equipment on a property that don't have a building. And we, as the neighbors, are against it. We're trying to build that side of the highway, that side of the bridge. You know, you got nice businesses coming on that side. You got several funeral homes on that side. That's really nice. Then you got other buildings that's trying to come, and other business, and people trying to, you know, do their house, make their house look presentable now. And that's all that, you know, we don't want it there. We really don't want it there. It's just eyesore for our community. We're trying to clean up our community, and ask that they, you know, they find somewhere else for it to go, in their neighborhood or somewhere else. And we're asking y'all to turn this down. You know, if you can turn a church down, I know you can turn this down.
Ma'am, may I speak?
Yes,
I don't know if the young lady realized what the property is zoned. It's not residential.
Yes, sir. I do know what the property is zoned. Back in years ago, when Miss Pippins and everybody was here, they zoned from 5th Avenue to 18th Avenue, from 22nd Street to 32nd Street for commercial. When I got to become a city council, that's something we're working on now. Because it's zone commercial, you still have things that you have to go by. And I know I sat on this council for 12 years. And anytime you want to store stuff, you have to have a building there. You don't have a building there. You have not constructed a building in order to store this. And a fence will not do it for us anymore. To us, that look like a junkyard. And we don't want it. We got too many junkyards on this side of 9th Avenue already.
okay.
Is that written in your zoning laws?
If you look at your zoning laws and the zoning book that I got, yes, it is in there. You have to have a building on it. And if that's the case,
Well, can you tell me where I can find that? Because, you know, I looked and just checking what industrial mean. I didn't see it. Where will I find that particular law?
I got it in my old zoning book at my office. And not only that, and I'm gonna say this to the board. A month or so ago back, y'all had on 5th Avenue and 32nd Street, where they got a building is already zoned for church and all that, and y'all turned it down. Y'all turned that property down because everybody, just like here, we don't want everything in our communities anymore. So we're doing petitions to try and clean up our communities. I understand that you own the property, sir. I understand that you feel like you can do this, but as the citizens of Bessemer, we're asking this board to, you know, listen to us and hear our needs, and we don't want it. We want to clean up that side of 9th Avenue. On this side of 9th Avenue, everything is booming and going up. We're trying to clean up our neighborhood. These are the last houses and citizens that been, you know, own their homes and out for a long time. We want something when you come out. When you come out the church lady, Miss Watson said, come out the church, this is gonna be a sore eye for them.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me say this. You know, I understand what she's trying to say, but you know, everything's governed by laws and rules and regulations. You know, in purchasing the property, that's what we went by, because that's what's all around there. All the zoning around there is industrial, which say that you can do these things. I mean, it's spelled out in your own rules and regulations, and you know, and there again, and I'm sure everybody realizes when you own property and zone, and we're not trying to get the property rezoned, we're just talking about a fence, you know, and to do on it as the owner, you know, is specified to do according to the zoning. But, you know, aesthetics is not good enough, because if we want to put a certain building on there, it don't meet the code, aesthetically, it may look good to us, but if it don't pass muster with the city, we couldn't put it there. So the same thing about what the lady's talking about. It doesn't merit what the property is zoned. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you heard all the comments from both the property owner community. Would board members like to make a motion, please?
I would like to make the motion that we deny item number 2.
Someone please second.
Second it.
Who's the second? I know I miscooked
Mona.
motion. Okay. It has been, Madam, Ms. Jones, would you call the vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Andrea Kirk Cook,
Aye.
Sheriff Smoot Johnson,
Aye.
Ramona Stevens,
Aye.
Alfida Acock.
Aye. It has been motion and passed that we deny the zoning for this fence.
So much.
Thank you, sir. Next item is item number 3, Regina Ward requesting a variance for ordinance for wall fence direct wooden fence. Is any here one for 1507 Minnesota Avenue?
Yes, ma'am. Tavares Ward, 1507 Minnesota Avenue, Bessemer, Alabama, 35020. My wife, Regina Ward, same address.
We also had already submitted letters of support to the council.
And the building inspector.
Ms. Sakoff?
Yes.
This is Tom speaking again. The letters they're referring to are included in your packet. They have letters in favor of or in support of their fence and letters in opposition to their fence. They're all included in your packet.
Okay. How many letters did we get? I got, yeah.
I only see one.
How many letters? Yes, Mr. Harmon? I don't have, for some reason,
I'm counting.
I had my hand just, I think I have gremlins in my house or something. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, we have a 2-page letter from Melanie Boyer of 1503 Minnesota. We have another 2-page letter with photographs from Will and Kelly Self.
Okay.
I don't see where they live at 1405 Minnesota, excuse me. Also, Brittany Marcus and Alex Babulinski. They're 1509 Minnesota. These are all letters in opposition. There have been 2 letters in support. Neighbors, I don't actually see those in the packet in front of me, but they were emailed as well. We also had a phone call today, not a letter, but a phone call from Nikki Jordan at 1501 Minnesota Avenue. And she was in opposition of the fence as well. That's, I'm counting 4 total. If that was your question.
Yes.
Okay.
So 4 total against and 2 for.
Yeah.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anyone present there in the chambers or online right now that's in opposition or for the project right now to speak to it?
Did you say for the project?
Either for or against the project.
We're in opposition.
You're in opposition?
Yes,
You come,
ma'am.
can you please come forward, give your name and your address?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Brittany Marcus. This is my husband, Alex Babulinski, and we are located at 1509 Minnesota, directly next door to the Ward residence.
Okay.
May I speak?
Ma'am? Who's,
May I speak? Regina Ward?
yes,
Okay, she is directly next door to where we live. We own 2 lots up here. The lot is at 1505, so she's not next to 1505.
The resident who lives directly on the other side, she wrote a letter of opposition. She was present at the first hearing when we weren't able to do a vote for it. She's actually in the YouTube stream right now, but she did write a letter in opposition as well.
okay.
If I may,
She was included in those numbers, Ms. Boyer.
Okay. Can I just ask one to speak? Fine. Whoever is against the project, could you speak right now? And then whoever's for, I'll come back to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Before I read a letter that I've written, I wanted to ask, will we be allowed to play a short audio clip for the members of the board?
How would y'all do that?
I'm sorry?
The audio clip,
Yes.
how long is it?
Really just a minute or two at the end of what I'd like to read, just to support our opposition.
It'd be kind of hard visually hear your audio clip, but I can hear your letter right now. Can you read your letter? And then we'll decide.
Yes. So to preface this, we live on Minnesota Avenue in the historic district in historic properties, as do the wards. We've lived here for 2.5 years next door to them. We've invested a lot in our property and we try to invest in our community. So my letter is, my husband and I are here to request that the city deny the proposed variation set before us. Several residents in our community have lodged over a dozen noise complaints with Bessemer Police regarding an unlawful dog breeding operation located at 1507 Minnesota Avenue. This operation, which is run by Regina and Tavares Ward, has caused mental and emotional stress to many members of our community and has potentially lowered our property values significantly. The privacy fence, which the wards are seeking a variance for, was erected to house this unlawful breeding operation. Regina and Tavares Ward have stated to numerous Bessemer police officers on multiple occasions that the fence was erected for this purpose. My husband and I feel that allowing this fence to remain in place as it currently stands will enable Regina and Tavares Ward to continue running their unlawful breeding operation, and that the wards are currently using the fence to do so at this time. The fence was erected in July 2020 without the wards obtaining proper permits and approval by the city, and is situated in the front yard of the ward property. The fence is located closer to Minnesota Avenue than both the steps and the front porch of the ward home. Despite the evidence provided by the wards, which attempts to claim that the fence is located in their side yard, the entire front face of the fence, which is 6 feet in height, is located in their front yard and violates Bessemer ordinances regarding privacy fences. Furthermore, my husband and I are extremely concerned that allowing the fence to remain as it is poses a serious risk to our mental and emotional health, as well as the health of others who live in close proximity to the ward property. For approximately 6 years, the wards have operated an unlawful dog breeding operation from their home at 1507 Minnesota Avenue. For 2.5 years of that time, my husband and I, as well as our 10-year-old son, have lived next door to the wards. Since the day we moved in, the noise caused by the numerous dogs located at this home has been a constant source of stress for our family. These dogs, which are full-blooded German Shepherds, are highly aggressive, untrained, and constitute a public nuisance. We estimate that there are currently 12 German Shepherds located at the ward home, which are used exclusively for breeding. We further estimate, based on statements by the wards themselves, that these dogs produce an average of 100 puppies per year or more. Many of these dogs live exclusively in small cages or tied to trees on short leads and receive little to no human contact or socialization. As such, the dogs resort to near constant barking as a means to relieve their stress. On numerous occasions, some of these dogs have managed to climb the fence surrounding our property and have attacked several of our pets in our own home. These dogs have also attempted to bite and attack my husband and I while we've been in our own yard. Some of these dogs regularly escape the decrepit fence surrounding the ward property and lunge at residents in our neighborhood. These dogs have caused thousands of dollars in damage to properties surrounding the ward home as well. In August of 2020, the wards applied to the city for a license to operate their breeding operation from their home. The city of Bessemer denied their application and requested that they immediately cease and desist in a residential neighborhood. Since that time, Bessemer police have responded to over a dozen noise complaints to the ward home regarding the barking produced by their dogs at all hours of the day and night. Since the denial of their license, the wards have produced another litter of puppies, which are currently located inside their home, have tinted the windows to the glass building in their backyard where their puppies are kept so that neighbors cannot witness their breeding operation. The wards have printed T-shirts advertising their puppies for sale while walking their pregnant and lactating dogs around the neighborhood, and have kept advertisements on their vehicles promoting their puppies for sale. They've also attempted to sell a puppy to a local contractor for $2,500. Again, all of these actions and more have occurred after their license was denied and the city demanded that they cease their breeding activity, as well as after this privacy fence was erected. 2 weeks ago, Bessemer police responded to the ward home on yet another noise complaint about their dogs barking. At this time, the wards produced a paper permit and stated that to Bessemer police that they have permission to breed their dogs at their residence. My husband and I have spoken to both city and county financial offices, and both have stated that no permits for dog breeding have been issued to the wards. We can only assume at this point that the paper permit produced by the wards and shown to Bessemer police was fraudulent. We feel that the city has a responsibility to protect the health and welfare of its residents. My family and I are unable to sleep soundly at night. We are woken up to the sound of German Shepherds barking at 4:50 in the morning nearly every single day. My husband and I have struggled to work from home due to the constant disturbances, and our son has struggled to concentrate on schoolwork. My husband and I have experienced multiple nervous breakdowns due to the constant lack of uninterrupted sleep and our inability to experience peace while inside our own home. The noise from these dogs is so loud that it can be heard in every room in our house and in each room located closest to the ward home, including our bedroom, our business office, our kitchen, and our family living room. The dogs can often be heard over the sound of our own voices. Over the last 2.5 years, my husband and I have sent over 200 text messages effectively begging our neighbors to keep their dogs quiet so we can sleep. Each of these requests has fallen on deaf ears. We ask that the city deny the variance requested by the wards. Regina and Tavares have gone on record with Bessemer police that their fence was built solely for the purpose of keeping their dog breeding operation from public view. In addition, the wards have demonstrated a consistent lack of regard for the peace of their neighbors and a consistent lack of respect for the different work and sleep schedules of those around them. The wards should not be allowed any additional privacy to their home, which runs oppositional to our rules and regulations, nor should they be allowed any additional opportunities to hide their unlawful and dangerous operations from plain view. At this time, with your permission, I would like to play an audio recording of the ward's dogs, which was taken from inside our kitchen and on the back porch of our home. I apologize if the sound is disturbing and ask that you consider what it might be like to be their neighbor and experience this every day of your life. If it's impossible for me to play this audio recording, I did send several of those recordings to Tom. If it is possible, my husband and I can share our screen and let you listen to that now, but that's at your discretion.
Okay, let me hear from the wards right now, and we can hear from the wards right now, but thank you.
Thank you. To Mayor Gully and the council, we have lived at 1507 for over 7 years without any problems. The Bobulinskis and his fiance moved in 2.5 years ago and have been a source of a nuisance to us and have caused my wife and I to resort to calling in the city council and the building and the magistrate. The city councilor assured us that it was illegal for the Bobulinskis to have a goat in the city of Bessemer. Muhammad, the magistrate, was questioned about it, and he stated that it was illegal. So we have quite a few irritants since the Bubalinskis have moved next door. Not only do they have 2 adult goats that wake us up morning and night, but they have a rescue operation that they operate that rescues kittens and stray cats. So we're constantly bombarded with cats, strange cats sleeping on our porch, all up under our cars, irritating our dogs. Yes, we do have dogs, and our dogs do bark, but the Bubalinskis have been guilty of walking the fence line, beating on the fence, literally barking like a dog to irritate the animals. We do have a video and recording that we played for Mr. Muhammad. So we are not without fault, but to come in your backyard every day to the sound of MF attempts to want to curse you, talk down to you, instead of trying to work out a situation, we're stuck with this for the last year. Getting back to the fence, and that's really what we're here for. We're not here for anything other than the fence. After an inspector informed my wife and myself that there was a problem and a complaint about the fence, we went to the inspection department to request a variance on the wall and the fence ordinance, which is the height allowed in section 8-7. Our request is based on a hardship of safety and security and safety for my family and my guests on my property. I'm legally responsible to provide reasonable security at all times when people are on my property. I also wish to secure my yard furniture, my grills, some are heirlooms, antiques, and other personal belongings that we've had to move into this privacy area because we can't stand the smell of these goats and enjoy 100% of our property here. And then the privacy fence also gives us an added security when our grandchildren are playing in the yard and they are not subject to comments from strangers passing by. There are often stray animals often end up in my yard. There are cats and dogs that have climbed over and dug under my chain link fence. I also think the fence is a beautification and it adds to curb appeal. On the other hand, we have called the council and the police about the 2 unpermitted smelly goats on the left of my house at 1509, and nothing is being done about it. This is how we have this is what we've had to endure for the last 2 years. We can't go on our porch and swing our rocker or enjoy our porch anymore. These animals also are diseased and they're farm animals and they can harm people. They're aggressive, and I know that I would do anything that I could to protect the loved ones on my property. On my street, I know there have been home invasions. Just last week, an individual was found face to face with an intruder in her home, stealing food out of her refrigerator. When it comes to my grandkids, protected, I'll do anything for them. Just yesterday, we celebrated a year of little Cupcake McKinney that was abducted in broad open daylight in the Birmingham area. The whole state of Alabama suffered a loss of this little girl. We use security cameras, we use dogs, we use burglar bars, we use locks, we use alarms, we use fence, and any means necessary to protect our loved ones from harm. The fence is for the security and the protection of my family. And I'll go as far as to answer certain questions that the Bobulinski brought up.
You don't need to answer all. Mr. Ward,
Ma'am.
answer the
Yes,
thing,
ma'am.
please. Just stay on the subject about the fence, please. No problem. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The fence itself is reasonable and necessary because we want to protect our guests and anyone that comes to our home.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any of the board members, or anyone else present in the there at City Hall or online, either for or against the fence to speak at this time? Besides the two people that have spoken to, Mr. Ward and Mr. Bobulinski.
Ms. Heckhoff, this is Tom.
Yes, sir.
There's no one at City Hall to speak in favor of or in opposition to.
Thank you, sir. Any board members, any response or anything at this time? Or question? About at this time, any board member like to make a motion at this time? And let me back, Mr. Harmon, there's 4 people against, it's 4 letters against and 2 for, and that's what you're saying. Make sure.
Yes, ma'am, at last count.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
This is Mona.
Okay.
How many times has this been before the board? Tom, can you answer that?
Mona, this is Tom. I'm sorry, can you elaborate? How many times has this experience been before this body?
Yes.
Well, actually one. It came one time, there was not enough information, so it was postponed. Then last month it was on the agenda again, but we didn't have a quorum, so it couldn't be heard. But as far as this case being evaluated by this body, this is essentially a continuation of the first time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, can I hear a motion from the board, please?
A motion to deny.
That's Mona.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cook. Ms. Jones? Is the motion and second? Could you please call a roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Karen Smoot Johnson,
Aye.
Ramona Stevens,
Aye.
Andrea Kirk Cook,
Aye.
Alfida Acoff.
Aye. It has a motion and second and voted on by the board that the defense is denied. Thank you. May we move to item number 4, please. ARC Women of Bessemer requesting board adjustments review for use of the property as a communal living facility. Is anyone here right now, Mr. Scott Fry, President, or anyone to speak on this on behalf of this application?
I don't want to hear this.
Yes, this is Scott Fry. Sorry. Thank you.
Go ahead, Matt. Speak on behalf of what this facility is and why you why you made this request.
Okay. So we acquired this property almost a year ago. It's an old 1899 year-old house. We're restoring it to its beauty, and we also have a men's facility just right down the street, a 60-bed facility for men. We took over the old Foundry Reentry. They're not in the prison or jail or transition activity anymore. We've taken that over, and we're not a part of the Foundry. We have our own program. We work with the parole board, with prosecutors, with judges, Magistrate Muhammad. We're trying to help out maybe some women as well with domestic violence issues. But we would like to take the opportunity to turn that house into about 7 women that we could help in our program. We do life skills and transitioning, jobs, accountability. We have rules, curfews, so people just can't just run around, and they're not going to cause problems for the community or anything like that. And we provide transportation and help them out as well. It's a job, right? So it's a nice place. It's not an eyesore, and we would just like to be able to help out more people in our program. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak toward this property, either for or against at this time? Any questions from the board?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Howard Johnson. I'm a property owner at 1730 4th Avenue North, which is the location of Sneaky Pete's downtown Bessemer.
Yes, sir.
And first, I want to thank you for allowing me this moment. We have some issues that we wanted to address with the downtown area and addressing this project. One, in my estimation, property values downtown, we're trying to enhance and increase property values. They're somewhat depressed at this state right now. And just think having this facility downtown will just simply accelerate a decrease in our property values. There's sufficient transitional housing inventory already downtown, more than sufficient. And not saying that this would occur there, but we already have some uncontrolled loitering which is occurring, and we want to just keep downtown as upbeat and enhanced as possible. And speaking on behalf of Sneaky Pete's, and we want to have an enhanced downtown, and so I just want to encourage you to deny this project. There's sufficient, more than sufficient transitional housing inventory already downtown.
Okay.
May I reply to that?
Yes, you may.
The property value has already gone up from $27,000 to approximately $60,000 to maybe even $80,000, maybe even $100,000. It's a property that was probably going to be dilapidated by the previous owners who we took it over from. And there is no loitering in our program, and there's no issues with uncontrollable people, that kind of thing. If you can see how we've ran the program over at 1616 5th Avenue North, which we're at right now, we've had no problems. When we do have a problem, we call the police. And like I said, this has been sanctioned by Judge Thrash, Judge Jeter, Lanice Washington, and then several judges in Birmingham, Judge Fortune, Ross, several other judges, prosecutors, parole board. It's not that they're loitering around, they're not causing problems, they're not stealing anything. We have curfews, we have rules. This is not a halfway house. This is not a anything but we just need a variance to be able to have more women in one place to be able to affect the program. So there's no decrease in value to any kind of properties. It's a house. The house was there. It's been there way before Sneaky Pete's was there. I believe that Sneaky Pete's is bringing down our value because really we should have more homes there. So if we want to go in that direction, but we can address that later. But it's the historical value. It should be a house, and it's big enough to accommodate without packing anybody in, without bunk beds, and without putting people in different situations. We have clean facilities, nice facilities, and I would think that the judges would not send people in the parole board and the Attorney General of the state of Alabama, Steve Marshall, and several others know about these projects. Now, the way that some of the other people run their programs, I can't speak for them, but yeah, I'm sure they have people loitering around and this, that, and the other thing. We don't do that. We don't allow that. We're not going to have that. And so they're absolutely danger to this community, nor the property values.
Can I get some clarity?
May I speak?
I'm sorry, and also we're across from the Board of Education. They've never complained about us, and we have a lot of guys here. So we're only talking about 7 women, maybe.
Mr. Pratt, let me have a speak now. He asked us.
Yes, sir. I just want to respond. Sneaky Pete's has been downtown Bessemer since about 1985, and I think that was before you were here. And beyond that, this project might do well if you put it in Hoover or Vestavia Hills. I think it'll work really well over there.
Mr. Fry, is it going to be a domestic violence home or a drug rehab place? Which one is it?
It's going to be women. So we do have some domestic violence. We have people coming out for alternative sentencing for people coming out of jail, and basically reentering people into society, getting jobs. Primarily, a lot of our women work at Mercedes-Benz. So if they're such bad women, I mean, why would they Mercedes accept them? And we're helping them turn around their lives. So there's not many children there, but we were talking to Maurice Muhammad about trying to handle maybe some of the women who do have some of the domestic violence issues. So we're in talks with Magistrate Muhammad right now.
Maybe Vance will be a good place for it then.
Okay, Mr. Howard. Is anyone else you speak for or against this project at this time?
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Yes, sir.
My name's Eric Toxey. I'm the attorney for ARC Women of Bessemer. And I don't want to detract from anything that Mr. Fry has said, but I would like to just kind of add to it that this is it is not a group home per se. What ARC Women is doing is a reentry program. They do have, as he said, they do have very strict protocols with curfews, their behavior code. Some members of their program, and again, I'm not trying to steal Mr. Fry's thunder, but I'm aware that some of their residents have been kicked out of their program. So it is not just a place to dump people while they are or after they are released from incarceration. It is a program to assist them to re-enter the community.
Okay. Anything from any board member at this time? Questions?
Do we have any other, this is Mona, do we have any other information about ARC?
Mr. Harmon, do we have anything else about ARC? Did you get in?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You have what was submitted.
Okay,
The only other
thank you.
information that the board is not aware of, to my knowledge, is this was brought to the building department's attention by Illegal Construction. A stop work order was issued on June 23rd. To my knowledge, we've received no plans of design of what's going to be of the building. I'll defer to Chief Brandon if about the fire, about the life safety requirements. But as far as about the company itself, no, you have what was submitted.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it's kind of like we don't have enough information about this.
Right.
And I agree with Mr. Howard Johnson about the group homes and Bessemers. There are quite a few of them there. And I know they say they can control the lottery and stuff, but that's a concern of mine. So I'm downtown. I live in Bessemer, and I see that, and I don't know where they're coming from, but it seemed to be quite a bit sometimes. So it's kind of hard to make a decision at this time, Mr. Harmon. I'm trying to understand. I'm with Mona. We don't have enough information about ARC at this time, and to make it real, because to me it's kind of confusing to say it may be domestic violence, because I've dealt with domestic violence women shelters and stuff, and they usually have to be private and unknown and not out in public to know where they're located at to protect violence.
I understand.
And I know mistakes and things happen, but I don't know. I'm confused because they're saying 2 or 3 things the thing would be. That's what I'm having an issue with.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. I would have to refer you back to Mr. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. My question also, Tom, this is Mona again, is are they located somewhere else at this time and they're just wanting to move here? Or are they not located anywhere?
Again, I'm not with ARC. I would have to defer those questions to Mr. Fry or Mr. Toxey. I've not withheld information from the board. I don't know anything about them either. I would encourage you to ask Mr. Fry or Mr. Toxey.
Yes, sir. Are y'all located somewhere else, Mr. Fry?
Yes, ma'am. Well, our actual plan is to build or acquire 3,000 homes or 3,000 beds across the state of Alabama, and right here in Bessemer, we've got the 60-man facility, and then we've got a house for some other girls. And we're also in Montgomery. We've got 2 homes in Montgomery that we just acquired. And you know, it's a home. I mean, it's a home, and all we're asking for is just a variance for, you know, basically a multifamily housing. You know, in a sense, because now whether it's going to be used for domestic violence or whatever the women's problem is, you know, I'm just telling you what some of the women have come to us with, that they've had a domestic violence issue. This isn't like a domestic violence shelter, so to speak. So I don't want to confuse you. I'm really sorry if I confused you. What I'm talking about is basically, you know, helping women get back, you know, second chances and get back into society. Now, some of these other group homes and some of these things and loitering, and like I said, we have curfews and there's no loitering. There's no, really, they're not really supposed to be in and out of the house. They go to work, they go to sleep, and that's it. It's a 6-month program. It's very simple. We don't deviate. There's no alcohol and drugs. If there is, we call the police and we get rid of them. They don't harassers day and night, and they're up all night. We've talked to the church next door. We're very friendly with those guys. We help, you know, take care of their lawn and stuff like that. I mean, you know, so, you know, I don't know what more I can say as far as, you know, it's a new program. You know, we just acquired this facility in July of last year, and I mean, you can see we've had no problems, no instances.
Well, I mean, that's any other, like, Ms. Fry, I'm sorry, that's enough. Any more questions from any other board?
First class and
I don't think he can hear us.
and missions and homeless people.
Mr. Fry,
Hello?
Scott Fry, I think we have
Yeah.
enough right now, I think. But I still, no matter how you say it, if you know, if it's not a clear agenda to me, and no matter how you say it, it's
Yeah,
not.
me neither.
And I'm an engineer. My background, I'm not just an everyday. My background is engineering, and you can be very, and I'm a very exact type person. So it's bothering me because that. Could I get somebody from the board to make a motion at this time? Mona or Ms. Cook?
I would like to make the motion that we deny item number 4.
Mona, I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Jones, and it had been second and motion to deny the, item number 4 for the Women's Home, ARC Women's Home of Bessemer. Ms. Jones, could you please call roll?
Yes. Chair Stewart Johnson,
Aye.
Ramona Stevens,
Aye.
Andrea Kirk Cook,
Aye.
Alfreda Acoff.
Aye. Thank you for your time. Your motions, has been denied. At this time, we move to adjourn. Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Harmon, we need to know at this time?
No, ma'am, that concludes the items on the agenda, and thank you all for showing up participating.
Okay, thank you.